So I wanted to make this video to share my experiences in job searching as a new psychology graduate in this pandemic. I feel like there's a lot of people in the same position as me, and so I want to share my tips that help me stay kind of motivated during this job search. I think it's pretty difficult to find jobs that are relevant for psychology, especially if you just finished bachelor's or even honours. It's still pretty difficult. You're not qualified yet to be a psychologist, so you do have to be creative in the kind of jobs that you look for. And also, there's the added challenge of COVID. It's a very uncertain time, so it's a bit scary to be finishing university and going out into the real world and trying to find a job during this time. The economy is not that great. There's a lot of people who are out of work as well, so there's not many positions around. But on the upside, there's a lot more remote work and work from home type roles available, which is a silver lining. Personally, I found my job search to be discouraging. I'm not exactly sure what to do in terms of applying for a job. It seems like there's a strange set of customs and rules that you have to follow when you're doing your resume or you're doing your cover letter writing. And this is the kind of thing that's it doesn't really get taught in schools or in universities much. So you do kind of have to find your own way. And I also found that there's not many jobs available that are directly relevant to psychology, either for clinical practice or research. Many of the seemingly relevant jobs that I've tried to apply for, I haven't been eligible for, either because they ask for an extra certification or because I lack that specific professional experience. And a lot of the jobs like support worker or caseworker, which are pretty popular with psychology grads, they require having a car, which I don't. And also it takes so long to apply to jobs. And many websites ask you to re-enter all your resume details, which is a bit annoying and frustrating. I'm also not very used to hyping myself up, so writing cover letters, it's like pulling teeth. Especially trying to write a cover letter that's specifically tailored to that job is a bit hard. And of course, many places that I've applied to, I haven't heard back from, so that lack of positive reinforcement has been a bit discouraging and kind of sucks. So the best way I found to keep myself motivated during job search, in spite of all these things, is my unnecessarily systematic way of applying to jobs, which I'm going to share with you today. And you might ask, why bother? But I feel that it really keeps me motivated, especially when I set specific goals and track my goal progress. And so I think it's important to come up with goals for your job search. Personally, I need to find a job to pay my bills, so I do have a financial goal which I can only achieve if I get a job. And also I need to find a job that will help me get the necessary experience needed for postgrad. I did miss out on postgrad applications this year, and I feel like I can improve my chances for next year if I take some time to work in relevant positions. Another thing, it's important to track goal progress. It can be What is it, buddy? Oh, you Also, I think it's important to track your goal progress. It can be a bit discouraging, as I've said before, when you don't hear back from the places you've applied for, and that's something you can't control, and yet the goal is kind of dependent on that. So I think it's important to maintain motivation by doing things you can control and trying to see the progress in these things. And that is, well, essentially applying to jobs. And so the easiest and most instant way to track your goal progress would be to simply track the number of applications you have made. And after all, job searching is a numbers game. You can be the perfect candidate for many jobs you apply for, but because of other candidates who may also be equally as suitable, companies at one point really do have to pick randomly between a number of equally suited candidates, even for interviews. So applying to as many jobs as possible gives you the best chance of getting through. And I use Notion to do this. I should say I'm not sponsored by Notion, just trying it out to see if it works better than my bullet journal. Okay, so here's my Notion, and I've got a job and experience search page. Basically, I got this as a template from Reddit. I'm gonna link it down below if I find it again. And then I just modified a couple of things. I got quick links for things like just my LinkedIn profile, tips for writing cover letters, because I always struggle with those. PsychStack, that's a pretty good website for kind of like psychology relevant careers, and it's got a lot of information, as well as like psychologist jobs, which obviously I'm not qualified for yet, but it's good to have a look what's out there. And then over here I've got some job search websites that I tend to use, and more specific websites. And over here I've just got like a little collection of places that I've interviewed for so far, just to remind myself that some progress is still progress, and even if I don't get the job, at least someone had a look at my application and thought I'd be worth to have in for interview, which is something worth celebrating, I think, sometimes. And then on this side I just have things to keep in mind. So here's my plan for job searching, like my strategy. Got the round dates for the outcomes on the PhD scholarship, and basically my plan was just to apply to as many relevant positions as I can. If I don't have any jobs by March, then I'll apply completely to absolutely any jobs that I can get, especially with hospitality. I think I can get a job easy as a waitress because I've had a lot of experience waitressing, but I do want to hold off a bit on applying to these kind of jobs just to see if I can get a more relevant position first. And this page just has some ideas, and it's basically a handout that I got giving you ideas for what you can do after your honours. And here I got a little to-do list. If I find a job and I didn't want to apply to it straight away, I'll list them there. And otherwise, the main attraction of this page is all the applications that I've made already. This is the title of the position, company that it's for, when I applied for, what type of job it is, whether it's casual, volunteer, part-time, full-time, where did I find that job, mainly it's just on a website. Here, the stage where my application is at, and as you can see, most of them I did not receive any replies. And I fill out this column here only if they get back to me after I send the application, and here if the job says when I expect to hear back from them. Most don't say that, so I just leave it blank. And in this column there's a little formula that calculates 10 days, I think, since last communicated date, and then tells you to follow up if it's been more than 10 days. And job description, company site, this is from the template, and I haven't really filled out these columns because I'm a little bit lazy. But the main thing is that I can see all the jobs that I've applied to so far, and at least have some rough idea of when I should expect to hear back from jobs. So for example, like jobs that I applied in early January, I'm probably not going to hear back from them, whereas jobs that I applied to more recently, I might hear back in maybe 2-3 weeks, something like that. And so another thing with this table is that you can actually filter out different things, which is pretty handy. I usually don't show my rejections, otherwise I can also remove that and you can see all the rejections that I've got. And so when I look for jobs, what I usually do is I go onto the website, let's go seek, enter keywords, and click. I just quickly scan the title and open it up as a new tab, and then once I've had enough of doing this, I go through each one and have a look whether I fit the criteria. And once I've selected the jobs that I am eligible for, I either go and look at the position descriptions in a bit more detail, because some jobs don't specify a couple of things in the ad that they specify in the position description that disqualify me from the position. So here they want a master's and a doctor's. And then basically to jobs that I am eligible for, I go and fill out my applications one by one. And I'm usually looking for research assistant jobs, so I would type it in directly into the keywords search box. But most of the time I'm actually just clicking areas that sounds pretty interesting to me. And there's some job websites that are a bit more relevant. So like ethical jobs, they specifically have mental health and counselling and a bunch of different not-for-profit type areas that are more relevant, I guess, to a psychology degree. And whereas websites like Seek, each category doesn't really dive further into different industries. For jobs like admin work, you will have to scroll through a bunch of admin work in different industries that are not necessarily relevant to psychology. And then the jobs I apply to, I just add them up here. And so yeah, that's my systematic way of going about my job search. So far it helped me be relatively consistent in applying to jobs and helped me kind of get over that kind of discouraging bits about job searching. And it also feels a bit satisfying to kind of see the number of entries increase as I apply to more positions. And also it keeps me on track to see which jobs I'm yet to hear back from, or jobs that I might probably not get a response. And I have more videos on the topic of job search scheduled. Originally this was going to be one long video covering all different aspects of the job search, but I've broken it up into 2 so far videos. And part 2 will talk about jobs that I'm applying for as a psychology graduate, hopefully to give you some ideas of jobs that are available for people who just finished their bachelor's in psychology or people who just finished their honours year. And then I'm also going to talk about graduate job search basics, such as doing up your resume and tailored cover letter writing. So do keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully this gives you some idea for how to get through these like discouraging times. Look, eventually you will get a position that you like, and yeah, best of luck with your job search, and see you guys next time.